Hello everyone and welcome to their Teamfight Tactics guide. Today we're going to be covering hyper rolling, how to do it, how it works, and when you should do it versus not. And I hate to start the video off by letting some of you down, but a hyper roll is not a kind of sandwich. Hyper rolling is a strategy in TFT that capitalizes on the fact that when you are low level, you have a higher chance of finding low cost units, and it utilizes early economy to blow through and buy as many low costs as you can in hopes of finding a really fast tier 3 unit in the beginning of the game. And if you're new to my channel, consider subscribing, liking, and commenting. You can also find me streaming live every Monday through Thursday in the afternoons Eastern time on twitch.tv/drybear. So first we'll talk about how to hyper roll, and then we'll get into when you should or should not hyper roll once you understand how it works. When you're in a game and you know you want to hyper roll, your goal is to hold on to as much gold as you can until round 3-1, which is just after the Krugs get killed. Up until this point in the game, you should never re-roll or spend any gold on experience because you're just hoarding gold for the moment that you blow your load right after the Krug. If you don't buy the experience, you'll stay level 4 with 8 out of 10 experience left in round 3-1. The reason this is important is every time you level up, the chances of finding higher rarity units goes up and the chances of finding lower rarity units goes down. At level 4, you have a 50% chance of finding a tier 1 unit every time you roll for each of the 5 rolls. And this is a crazy high roll chance, and the whole hyper rolling strategy relies on this fact. So once you're at 3-1 and you know you're ready to hyper roll, what your goal is to keep your bench clear and then just start spam re-rolling and picking up as many tier 1 units as you can. You should be able to get to about 5 or 6 buys in a row before your bench fills up, so you may have to start selling units that you look at and see this isn't going to work for me, but your goal is to roll through about 20 to 25 gold, buying as many tier 1 units as you can. Most of the time when you do this strategy, you usually will find a tier 3 or very close to a tier 3, like a Nidalee or a Warwick or Tristana, and going into round 3-1 with a tier 3 already is very, very effective. You could also buy tier 1s along the way as you're leveling up, but you want to make sure you're getting that income gold because it will give you more rolls in the end. Now, since you're saving your gold along the way, you will risk losing a lot of rounds and potentially taking a good amount of damage before you get that tier 3 online, so you want to make sure you're making intelligent decisions with tier 1 units along the way to win as many rounds as you can while saving your gold. Getting the double knight bonus with Darius, Mordekaiser, or Garen can help a lot, and getting the 3 noble bonus can also stall out rounds for a little bit as well. You want to make sure you win all the minion rounds as best that you can, the first 3 and the Krugs, because you'll need those items. But again, do not re-roll, do not spend experience, and don't buy any expensive units, and try to keep your income as high as possible. For me, when I hyper roll, I like to stop at minimum 10 gold because I don't want to go all the way down to 0. I think once you spend about 15 to 20 gold, you'll realize whether you're going to be able to pull off the tier 3 or not. And if you get really close, that's okay too. But I don't like going under 10 gold because you start to fall really far behind. That's the risk with this strategy, is you will actually end up tanking your economy in order to get a big boost. And if that big boost isn't big enough, you might just fall behind and lose the game. And it's that simple. You're just hoarding your gold until you get to 3-1 and re-rolling and buying a bunch of low cost units. Now let's talk about when you should hyper roll and when you shouldn't, and things to look out for if you're thinking about doing it. The first point is that every unit in the game has a limited stock available to everyone in the game. So if multiple people are trying to hyper roll at the same time, buying up all the tier 1 units, it will actually deplete them all across the board, and some people won't even get tier 3s at all. It's a good idea to look around to everyone else's board to see if anyone else is planning to hyper roll, and on top of that, see if anyone already has a lot of tier 2 or tier 3 1 cost units on their board. Remember, you're looking for a availability of low cost units across the entire game before you commit to a hyper roll. And really, this is the most optimal time of the game to do it because it's the perfect storm. You have a decent amount of gold saved up, you still have a high roll chance on low cost units before you hit level 5, and you want to spend all that gold to suck up all the tier 1s and see if you get to 3-star. You'll usually guarantee yourself between 3rd and 5th place at the low end every single game because you will get a decent amount of units boosted up, and anyone that was trying to build a strategy that didn't come together and could not get their stars higher on the units they were picking will lose to you by the mid game. But if multiple people are going for a hyper roll all at once, or you do the hyper roll, don't get what you need, and now you're down on gold, your economy for mid to late game is pretty much tanked. So you're hoping you're getting at least 1, if not 2 or 3 3-star units during this hyper roll process, progress, and then you want to start saving up again. Once the hyper roll is done, don't keep rolling because you now need to rebuild your economy to get back to 50 gold so that when you hit late game, you're able to level yourself up and you're able to make better decisions by that time. And now you know how to hyper roll. Jump into a match and give it a shot and let me know what your results were in the comments down below. Thank you so much for tuning into this video and showing me your support. It really means a lot to me. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check me out on my live stream Mondays through Thursdays in the afternoons Eastern time, and I'll see you in the next one.